Welcome back to About Last Week, a look inside a college hockey weight room. This week, we will be going over week 7 of the fall semester. About Last Week is a series of presentations and videos that take you inside the college hockey weight room. We focus on the 2021-2022 seasons of Liberty University's men's and women's D1 hockey teams. About the week before. So last week, the men, we reduced their workload on Wednesday because of the midnight game. We're going to show another clip of the midnight game just to give you a reminder of the intensity and the stress and the excitement and anxiety levels of that game. We had our midnight game on Saturday, October 2nd. For the women, they began trap bar deadlifts on Monday. They're performing them on Monday, supersetting with cat cows and RDLs. And the women had sled pushes on Monday because for me, as we get deeper into the season, Monday is an acceleration or a strength focused day. For the men's team, they had games coming up on October 8th and 9th. On Monday, they were still fatigued, so the workout looked a little bit different than a normal Monday workout, and we started out with some hip mobility. Let's look back to our midnight game. Big shout out to Pat Strawn, Olivia Bergen, and Hayden Robertson. They are our media team here at Liberty, and they do a phenomenal job. But look at this crowd. Okay, this is the third period. It's a 2-2 game. It's a close game. It's a top 10 matchup. Right now, this is about 2 a.m. in the morning. Look how many people are there. You cannot describe or you can't really put into words or feelings the amount of stress, anxiety, and just overall excitement level that this type of game brings. And with that, it's going to cause a lot of fatigue, a lot of just stimulation, right? Think of the happiest, greatest time or day of your life. No matter what, the next day is going to be pretty crappy just because today was such a good day, right? And that's what these guys were experiencing. No matter what, Sunday, Monday was going to be a tough day. So we reduced that workload on Monday. You could see here, we didn't even do any sprints or jumps, hip mobility and some strength work. Looking towards Wednesday was more of a typical workout that you've seen me doing with the boys. We're going to split squat, one arm rows, barbell RDLs, and that's when we also would get into our sprints, our jumps, our spring ankle, and our med ball side toss. We also put a new exercise in, pelvic step ups. Have a couple clips from the summer to show you for pelvic step ups. So for this exercise, basically the athletes are in a tall kneeling position and they are trying to bring their foot and touch it onto the pad. As they're doing this, they are not allowing their foot to swing out to the side. And this helps really mimic gait or a proper hip pattern during sprinting. Right? So if we're looking at the gentleman in red, he's trying not to lean a bunch to the side, and he is trying to not let his foot flare out a bunch. Arms are overhead. That's kind of step one because that helps immobilize the hips a little bit. We could also see here that when they have their arms overhead, it kind of just locks down the hips a bit more. Okay, go ahead and try that. Keep your hands at your side, kind of wiggle your hips side to side. Now put your arms tight overhead, reach for the sky, wiggle your hips side to side, and you'll feel that's a little tighter. So this is step one of pelvic step ups. Okay, pelvic because it's a really hip dominant exercise and step ups because we're stepping onto the pad. So in an ideal world, we would have a slightly more forward lean. There would be a bit more of a positive shin angle to this front leg. And if you kind of just chopped off their upper body, it would look a lot like what their body looks like during a sprint. We could also progress these. So hands overhead is step one. And step two, we're bringing our hands on hips with our athlete here in blue. And you can see the athlete in red. She has progressed to swinging a plate around the head just to add a little bit more instability, especially with hockey. Again, we're very, very rarely, never just skating straight forward with our upper body totally frozen. So starting to work on that, adding more stress to the hips there. And those are pelvic step ups, which the fellas started on Wednesday. Intent and big picture. On Monday, they were still fatigued, right? You remember the clip of the midnight game. That stress, that anxiety, thinking about it all week, plus playing a game Saturday at midnight. They weren't ready for high intensity, high nervous system work on Monday. So what does high nervous system work look like? Lots of jumps, lots of sprints. Where from the outside, you're looking at it and you're going, oh, that didn't look too bad. But on the inside, their brain, their nerves are firing a mile a minute. Okay, so a sprint takes up a lot of brain power versus a strength exercise, which is slower. You can kind of grind those out. If you're fatigued, if you're sore, if you're beat up, you can't grind out sprints. So we're going to stay away from that type of work on Monday when they're a little bit more beat up. On Wednesday, regular workout. Get them sprinting and jumping again. In the big picture, post-midnight game, fatigue to deal with on Monday. When we're looking at trying to win, I can't continue to beat them up. I need them to feel good on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday so we can have quality practices going into the weekend. So again, I can't have a killer workout on Monday when we're looking at the big picture. Winning is the most important thing. I'm going to use Monday's training to gauge Wednesdays. So when we're looking at the men's team builder, I write out Monday and I kind of leave Wednesday open or blank. After this workout, I'm going to gauge how are they doing, how are they feeling, what are they saying to me as they're walking out of the door. So if they're done Monday and they're walking out and everyone's still dragging, no one's smiling, I'm going to modify this workout on Wednesday. I might still take out the sprints and maybe just have hand on hip jump mat. But Monday was used to gauge how Wednesday went. Monday went really well. Guys were fired up. So because Monday went well, we're going to have sprints, we're going to have jumps, that high nervous system work on Wednesday. And because Monday went well, I wanted to get those sprints and jumps in on Wednesday because it would be their first time doing it since September 27th, right? Monday, the 27th. So just about 10 days. The way our body works is if you don't hit certain things, meaning if we took too much time off from sprints, we're going to become detrained with that exercise. And in a sprint-based program like I run, definitely don't want that. Looking at the women's team, so if you remember, throughout the entire first part of the semester, they were doing the men's and women's team jump research practice. The men had their research data collection week, and this was it for the women here on week 7. So on Monday and on Wednesday, and even on Tuesday, they were performing IRB approved research. If you'd like the research leads contact information, please message me and I'd be very, very happy to share that with you, give you an idea of what to look for in the future with that research coming out. Intent for the week, perform research. In the big picture, just like the men, there was no games this upcoming weekend, so it's a great time to execute a research study. I'm totally fine with sacrificing 1 week for a long-term payout. The data that we're going to gather from this research is going to be extremely valuable. In the big picture, this was week 7. It's preferable, in my opinion, to do this type of research earlier, but there was no games, and that's what made this week ideal. So in a perfect world, yes, I would have liked for the women's team to perform their research earlier in the semester rather than kind of in the middle. But looking towards the big picture, they didn't have games this weekend, made it ideal. If you have any questions or thoughts, please feel free to reach out. If you'd like any resources to get ideas for how did I come up with my ideas or my thoughts going into the weight room or my training, and if there's anything you would like for me to cover or detail next time, please let me know. Please feel free to reach out.